Howdy-yo, everyone! Velocity here, back in action for more Great Ace Attorney 2 Resolve Attraction. That's right, we are in the midst of the big judiciary place, the Supreme Court, Honcho of the British Empire. And it seems like we have some familiar people with us. And I'm here to show them my armband again, because it might have something else, because a certain somebody's here. And it doesn't. They don't say nothing. It's fine. Well, I tried. Point is, conversation. Let's talk about tomorrow's trial. I'm sure you can imagine that tomorrow's trial will be closely followed all over London. In fact, no. People over the Empire will be watching closely to see how it unfolds. There's no salvation for anyone in the trial of prosecution, prosecuted by the Reaper of the Bailey. And now, the Reaper himself must stand in the dock. Quite so. The public want answers about the Reaper. Answers about how and why those who escaped conviction subsequently died mysterious deaths. But Lord Van Zieks firmly denies any involvement in such matters. There have been thorough investigations that have proven him to be innocent. That's certainly true. Or it has been, at least, until now. No, tomorrow's trial will mark the start of a new chapter in our country's great judicial history. Okay, the killer's gun then? Oh yes, we noticed that there was a gun at the scene of Inspector Grayson's death. Do you know if it belongs to Lord Van Zieks? That would be a question for the lead detective investigating the scene. Well, the thing is, she wasn't sure, so she told me if I should ask somebody higher up who might know. That's right, Mr. Naruto. Be direct. It's certainly a model that's issued to all personnel involved in law enforcement. Yes. Which includes prosecutors, as I'm sure you can imagine. In that case, it could actually have belonged to the victim. No. Grayson had his gun on his person. What about Lord Van Zieks? He claims it's currently not in his possession. What? According to his story, he lost it. In short, more than a little suspicious. But just because the gun in question is the same type as the defendant's, there's no proof that it's actually his. No, of course not. Nevertheless, the situation is grave for Lord Van Zieks. Okay, what about Mr. Asagi? So, Kazuma will be prosecuting tomorrow? That's right. But he's a defense lawyer, Lord Strongheart. Accomplished young law practitioners cannot pick and choose their roles. Imagine what it would mean for the prosecution to know the strategies commonly employed by the defense. A devastating combination. Wouldn't you agree? Absolutely. No doubt at all that Cosmo would be razor sharp as a prosecutor. But why Kazuma-sama? There are surely many other highly skilled prosecutors in Great Britain. It was a personal request. I asked to be assigned to the trial. You asked for this? But why? It'll all become clear tomorrow. I'm guessing you intend to stand for the defense, don't you? Although the Reaper appears to be turning down all offers of representation. I'm surprised such a personal request would have been upheld. It seems unprecedented. Quite exceptional, in fact. You're quite right, Miss Mikotoba. Tomorrow's trial will be unprecedented and exceptional in every way. After all, the accused is one of Britain's greatest prosecutors, the pride of the Empire. It would be unwise to give the public a reason to perceive it as a judiciary of closing ranks. That's why you're happy to let a foreigner handle the prosecution? Renosuke, let's see how your skills have been honed after practicing law in this land for so many months. Kazuma, I don't understand why you're being so hostile to me now. This isn't going to end well, my friend. So he just doesn't like us no more? Oh dear. The great detective's living room is always full of enigmatic marvels. Nope. Not here. Let's see if the Great Waterloo has something for us. Nope. Not there. Okay, so if it's not there, Fresno Street Room maybe? Converse? No. We can't really go there. I don't think we have a place to go offhandedly, so we might have to do a little bit more. Are you sure we've asked everything? So clearly not. Oh, we could talk to him. I'm sorry for all the worry I've caused you, but it'll all be alright now. Has your memory completely returned? Yes, completely. I remember everything, including what was I coming here to do. Right. Kazuma-sama! Can't tell you how happy I am to see you alive and well like this. But how did you come to be here in London when you were suffering from amnesia? It was the voice. This past year, I've been hearing it in my head constantly, saying the same thing over and over. Go to London. That's where your destiny awaits. It was that voice that guided me here to London. I'm so sorry for what's happened. Anyway, my memory might have returned to me, but there's something that won't return in the way it was before. Huh? What do you mean? I'm a prosecutor now, so I'm sure our paths will cross again very soon. Doesn't look like we're going to glean much more here. Well, thank you very much, Lord Strongheart. Remember, tomorrow's trial will go down in our Empire's history. There's much you can learn from the public gallery. Oh? Sorry to have taken up so much of your time. We'll see ourselves out.
Hold it!
Before you go, Renosuke. Oh, what is it, Kazuma? I just wanted to thank you.
Kazuma-sama, what?
You took my determination to heart and brought it with you over the ocean in my stead. And you carried out my role to perfection.
You always were intended on studying British law in order to change our own judicial system. It was your dream, and Mr. Naruto didn't want that to die with you.
Yes, but I have another purpose for coming here.
Oh?
I actually have a favor to ask.
Which is it?
This trial I'll be prosecuting tomorrow. I'd like you to be there to see how it ends. Right in front of me, as a defensive counsel.
Why? What's this all about?
I know you have what it takes.
But Lord Van Zieks would never put his fate in my hands.
On the contrary,
He recognizes your talent. He does?
it's not easy to see behind the facade sometimes. Here, have a look at this.
That's Lord Van Zieks and Inspector Grayson.
A photograph that must have been taken some time ago, by the look of it.
And who's the third person?
It was displayed very prominently in the detective's office.
In Grayson's office, you mean?
Yes. What I'm trying to say is, you really think you could trust the Reaper? You might find that some straight talking makes him take a different view. Take it.
Okay. I don't understand. Why are you giving me this?
Just hurry, Renosuke. Visiting hours at the prison are almost over.
What are you doing, Kazuma?
Well then, he wants us to go. I guess we'll go. The 1st of November, local prison, cell 1.
Lord Van Zieks is still reading that letter? You've been gone quite some time, though.
Either he's an incredibly slow leader, or it's an incredibly long letter. I might even be able to read English faster than he can. I was intending to ignore you entirely. But I can't turn a deaf ear to such insulting Nipponese.
Sorry?
I didn't think you heard that. I had the case notes brought to me in secret. I was reading them to pass the time.
Yes, we heard that your trial is set for tomorrow.
Which is none of your business.
So, have you found a lawyer?
How many times must I read it the same thing? This is nothing to do with you.
In other words, no. We were just talking to Lord Strongheart, and the prosecutor for your trial has been decided.
I expect nothing less, though I have no idea who it is. It's going to be Kazuma Osagi. Osagi!
That made the color drain from his face.
Well then. Seems I'm going to have to engage in conversation with you again after all. Okay. So Osagi, right? 10 years ago, my older brother, who was the director of prosecutions at the time, was murdered. And the killer, as you know, was a visiting student from the Far East. Not a single day goes by when I don't curse the name Osagi. Genshin Osagi was Kazuma-sama's father. So what cruel twist of fate this is now, 10 years later? The man's son is to crucify me in some kangaroo court? I still don't understand why Lord Strongheart apprenticed Kazuma to you. It's what he does. No doubt he knew of the young man's true identity from the outset. But what could he have been hoping to achieve? Let's not forget that it was only 8 days ago that Kazuma recovered from his amnesia. Why would Lord Strongheart assign this trial to somebody like that? Osoge. The name is the very impotent. That name is a very epithet of my bane. The bane that is you, Nipponese. Right. Your hatred of all us Japanese. The Nipponese bane. Rah. What is this? The fucking... Is this the railway situation again? Oh my god. I've only just been appointed as a prosecutor when it happened 10 years ago. My brother, Click, the director of prosecutions, was hunting down a mass murderer. The so-called professor. Assigned to the investigation as his partner was a certain visiting student dispatched from Scotland Yard. And that was Genshin Osagi? Exactly. I developed a deep respect for the man. Seemed noble-minded and chivalrous to the extreme to me. But none of us saw the true nature of the man. So I lost everything when it happened. My esteemed brother, the people I believed in, and any semblance of right prevailing over wrong. Oh, how awful. To avenge my brother, I prosecuted in Osagi's trial. It wouldn't ordinarily have been allowed, but I belingered the ascribed prosecutor until he consented. What do you mean by the ascribed prosecutor? The man in charge of the prosecutor case inquiry, Lord Mayor Strongheart. Wait, what? Wait, what? Lord Strongheart? He's a highly accomplished prosecutor, but he agreed to relinquish the trial to me and act as my advisor instead. Since that time, he's the one person to whom I felt indebted. Sure, you must have seen your zeal for the case and recognized your potential as a prosecutor. Anyway, time passed, but then earlier this year, who would arrive in London but you? Ah! And of all things, as a lawyer. I felt your animosity the very first time I ever faced you in the courtroom. Your obvious deep loathing of us Japanese. I kept telling myself it was illogical. But for so many years, that hatred had festered inside me. I could no longer control it. I can understand why. Now I know the history. But in the same way that I've long felt the Nipponese to be the bane of my life, to Kazuma Osagi, I am the bane of his, the reaper who sent his father to the gallows. He's looking for revenge, and he intends to take it in court tomorrow. Well then. So about your gun, bud. About the gun used to shoot the inspector that was found at the scene. Ah, yes. That's not mine. Really? Because common opinion seems to be that it is. What do you expect me to say to that? Lord Strongheart informs us that you claim to have misplaced your firearm. As embarrassing as that is, I'm afraid it's true. When do you lose it then? That, I don't know. Oh! I was issued with a revolver when I first became a prosecutor 10 years ago. I must have stowed it somewhere, I suppose. Or left it somewhere, perhaps. You have something in common with Lord Van Zieks after all, Mr. Naruto. A talent for misplacing things. No. This has nothing to do with me. Don't drag me into this. Don't make the mistake of associating me with this Nipponese. Oh dear. The rift is very wide, isn't it? She was just trying to have people relate. That's all she was trying to do. So it's not decisive evidence, clearly. It doesn't look good, that's for sure. Then about Inspector Grayson? Grayson's transfer to the Paris Police Prefecture had finally been arranged for the coming month. But he'll never make it to France now. The tragedy. Oh yes. Now I think of it, he did mention something about that, didn't he? I wonder, does it happen often? Being transferred internationally, I mean. It's the first time I've ever encountered it. Oh. The Paris police welcoming an English detective is almost inconceivable. I can't imagine what kind of magic Grayson must have worked to put that arrangement in place. Sounds like that mystery has even the Reaper perplexed. I'm afraid to say that we were very arrogant about Inspector Grayson's standings. We heard that he was considered something of a legend at Scotland Yard. Again, it was 10 years ago that he first made a name for himself by uncovering a decisive piece of evidence that exposed the professor's identity. If it wasn't for Grayson's singular approach to the case, discovery would never have been made. What sort of approach? After my brother's life was taken, the inspector pushed for a full autopsy. Oh my! 10 years ago? Why is that so surprising? Autopsy was considered a desecration of the body at the time, and rarely performed. And my brother was of course a noble, and made the idea of it even more unthinkable. But something Grayson had dug up in his investigations made him determined it was necessary. His powerful conviction somehow influenced the House of the Lords, and as a result, I could avenge my brother's death. So, you must have had great confidence in the Inspector's abilities then. It's even more inconceivable that you would have taken his life. I don't have confidence in anyone. Oh? I'm sure Grayson felt the same way. I've no doubt he thought of me only as an ominous reaper, just like the rest of London. That's not true. What really went on between Lord Van Zieks and Grayson, I wonder? What was the true nature of their relationship? Well, I do know. Let's present it to this bitch. Let's look at this too. Look at him, he's happy. Got a happiness to him. Buttons. Ooh. Why is he looking that way? Well, regardless, this is what we present. Lord Van Zieks, we came by this old photograph. Where did you get that? It was taken when I became a qualified prosecutor. It's almost unbelievable. I assumed it was long lost. Is the man on the left there? Yes, that's my brother, Clint. Okay. It had to be, really. Apparently this picture was prominently displayed in a Grayson's office. He had a deep respect for you, you know. Were you aware of that? Respect? That's nonsense. No, we've heard someone attest to it very clearly. Inspector Gino Lestrade, no less. Well, maybe once, yes. The time things were like that. We were brothers in arms, juvenilely discussing the future of justice and other such lofty subject matter. It was a nice glimpse of the past. I thank you. I feel as though I got a nice glimpse of the past then, too. There's a glimmer of light in his eyes. A brief twinkle. An insight into the true nature of this man known as to all as the stone-cold reaper of the Bailey. Mr. Naruhodo. Oh! That's the first time he's ever used my actual name. I've lost all confidence in my country's judicial system. I don't trust the police, the judiciary, or lawyers. But there's still one thing I'm willing to believe in. What's that? That which you see in the eyes of another across the courtroom. A simple determination to know the truth. Lord Van Zieks? From the very first time we clashed into the Bailey, almost a year ago now, I couldn't deny it, even though I dearly wished I could. Here is the loathsome Nipponese, who has absolute integrity as a lawyer. There are only two other men I've known with the same look in their eyes. My brother, Clint, and Genshin Osugi. The man he idolized and the man who betrayed his trust in the most heinous way? When you showed me that photograph just now, it reminded me. You mean this photograph? Back then I was able to laugh. Was free of the shackles of mistrust that plague me now. I looked to the future with hope. Since then, I protected myself against betrayal by refusing to trust anyone. But at times, the mire into which I've sunk makes it almost impossible to breathe. I'm so sorry. So, Mr. Naruhodo, I want to believe in that look in your eyes. I need to believe in it. In tomorrow's trial, will you advocate for me?
course I will. It'll be an honor. I'm so pleased, Mr. Naruto. Then my life is in your hands. Oh, Lord Van Zieks. That must have been an incredibly hard thing to ask. Which is why I simply could not let the man down. Tomorrow, in the Old Bailey, against my old friend, Kazuma. Oh, this is insane, yo! Oh my god, this is so cool! With that said, everybody, that is the end for today. Next time we'll be faced with a trial, but for now, like, comment, and subscribe if you can. And I shall see you all next time. Until then, sayonara. Bye-bye.